So welcome back to TestDive, Nokia's conference aimed at testers and the whole community. We are ready for our next speaker, and the speaker is Marta Firlej, who's going to prove that you can't grow without people. Now, Marta started her journey with software testing 14 years ago. She is engaged in quality assurance and competence development. She has not only built and developed testing teams, but also worked with customers to create, develop, and design software. She was the founder of Test Fest in Wrocław here in Poland, and Marta regularly volunteers and speaks at various conferences. Outside of work, she likes to travel, cook, and ride her bike. And also recently, she learned how to roller skate, but she doesn't know how to stop yet. So someone, please, if you know how to stop a newborn roller skater, please contact Marta later and tell her how to do it. In the meantime, please ask her questions using Discord, our special software for Q&A during this conference. And now, without further ado, Marta, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Rafał. And I think that was the best introduction I ever had on a conference. So guys, just a tip, I'm speaking on the conferences because this is the great motivator, how to share your knowledge, but also a great motivator to join them, even if you don't have budget for it. So, you're welcome next time, sign for call for papers on any event you have nearby or virtual, as we can do right now. So I wanted to start and tell you a little bit why I wanted to do this presentation. So I thought about it 3 years ago, actually. And 3 years ago, when I started to work for quality management office. And to do that, I wanted to share with you a little bit of a context, why it's something interesting for me. So in my past, I was working for rather smaller companies, mostly software houses. Yes, I had in my past some episodes in like big investment banks, other corporations, but it wasn't that big. And because of the small companies, for those of you that either worked with me in the past or you're working in a smaller companies, you know that your position, your name of the position, anything you have there, everything depends on like what you fight for or what are other workers with you. And 4 years ago, I joined a company that is called SoftServe. Actually, I invited you today to the office. I'm so happy sitting here because this is my own room. I got my own room with a great view for the empty open space right now. And I spent here, this is my 5th day. And when I joined SoftServe, and to show you the context about the company, why it's a little bit different, it has offices all around the world. It's a Ukrainian company, but it's a software house. Still, we provide services for other companies. And when I joined, I was surprised with the amount of software testers on board. So I joined 4 years ago, and it was a little bit around 800 testers. Now it's over 1,500. So you see the growth is huge. And we all work in different projects, different departments, different delivery units. We are different. We have different background and experience, and we do different things within the projects we're working on. And some time ago, I was invited to start working in something that is called Quality Management Office. This is inside in-house quality center of excellence. And within my team, we focus on people excellence and project excellence. So to think of what we are doing, and everybody that knows me, that I'm not politically correct, whenever I say something or write something. So normally I see the projects that are in crisis or they need huge bump just because of what we are doing. But actually my team is designing a lot of services, a lot of things for our clients, but also for the people that are working within the company. So all the best practices, we set what they have to know and what they have to do and with whom and how often, how much experience they need to have. But we are also those experts that bunch of the best people the company has, that can support with crises and with other things. So when we started to when I joined, something I was really surprised with was that we have in a company 3 competencies. The first one is quality control engineers. That it's something that you would in general think as a software tester, that it's from preparation, documentation, like planning tests and executing them, and of course reporting, everything connect to that. We have second group of competencies that is called test automation engineers, and they do test automation. They prove if something that was working before works right now. And the third one, that is the smallest for now, but the newest as well, is software engineer and tests. So something that we call as a hybrid between an ops, test automator, test automation engineers, and quality control engineer. And I'm quality control engineer by heart. I don't do test automation that much. I know how to do it. It's just not something in my soul. And when I joined the company, I noticed that this company has 3, like at that time, 2 separate paths of growth and clear expectations what to do on each level. And few years ago, actually almost over 10 years ago, within the department I'm working right now, there was the creation of knowledge model. So this description of what you should know when you're working as a lead, as a junior, if you're a QC, if you test automation engineer. It was also created for set engineers when we got them. And let's take a look on what normally happens, why people are doing it. So normally people working, we as employees, we have our reasons. The first, the most important reason is we want more money. And it's obvious. It's something that this is the biggest motivator if I talk with people why they want to grow, why they want to learn new things, is because they want to earn more. And it's okay. And this is one of the motivators. The other motivator that we notice that people have, it's to improve on ourselves. Like, I would like to grow, but please tell me how. I need to learn new things. Which new things I need to learn? This attitude of like, I want to become a test automation engineer. What should I do? And I'm pretty sure you ask those questions often, and you hear, especially if you're senior plus, you hear those questions often as well. There is also another thing why people want to grow, and what they do is just they are a little bit burned out. They want to make a change. They want to make to feel a sense of their work, and this is also like really often a motivator why they want to grow, to change, to skill out. Something that I faced really often, and I'm smiling because it's something that had me back to 2006 when I started. It's like, I want to become project manager. I want to become BA. There is nothing interesting in testing. Like, I achieved everything. So when I started in 2006, as I started in small company, and there was almost nothing about software testing in Polish language in the internet. Then because of that, of course, I thought that my future will be in project management. I have I have people skills. I can manage stuff. Yeah, of course. And you know what? I become a project manager, and I came back to testing as soon as I could. I was doing business analyst job, and I'm back in testing as well. It gave me great background. It gave me great tools, knowledge, and experience, but it's not inside of my soul. It's not part of my heart. So just summarize the top perspectives why employees wanted to have this knowledge models, why they wanted to have this path. And I'm pretty sure now you're shaking your head that like, oh yeah, this is what I have as well from my employees, or I feel as well. It's like, either like, what should I do to get more money? Like, I want to go, I would like to grow, but how? I need to learn new things, like which new things? And I want to make this change. I want to either become like join other role or do something else. So something that we need to take a look as well is the company perspective. Why company invest time and money to create those knowledge models, to create this clearer paths of what we should know and what we should do to grow and to change positions, and even have descriptions of positions. So like normally it's a reaction. It's a reaction to lazy attitude. So to motivate people. So one of the tricks this company did was some time ago was that that had people, and of course it was easier to sell it to clients, the testers and testing job as well as the positions, when our testers were certified. So the company and the people that design it put as one of the promotion criteria for some of the levels, put the ESTQB certification. And you know what? Over half of the company is certified right now because it was a great motivator. But the side effect is that we all speak the same language. When we think about test strategy, test plan, test cases, defects, we think about the same because we chose certification, so we chose the language we'll all use. And based on that, all materials are done because it's just easier for us to like react and to work on every day. The other thing from company's perspective that was addressed by that, it was like rotation and turnover ratio. So like that people were switching companies, and like even now, because it was like I needed to change something. I wanted to be promoted. I felt not appreciated. So because of that, I changed. I changed job. I changed position. So to show people that they have this growth, they have these opportunities to give like a sense of appreciation, these knowledge models were created. And also something that was addressed as well is that especially in software houses, having mature, experienced people, this is how you win the business. So you show, and this knowledge models may be one of the motivators for this as well, and for the company to prove that have like best qualified people from certain different areas. So just to sum up, so from the company perspective, very often the problems that knowledge models try to solve are the attitude, the rotation, the turnover ratio, not enough mature or experienced people, or to bust this this experience base or knowledge base, and make sure that we as a company, we are capable of providing like valuable or certain services to software testing services to the clients. So like if you see that like you're certain type of the company, you have certain types of the projects, and like it's worth if people know something, this is one of the tools you can use. But the clue of my presentation is actually to share with you the developed solution. So, as I told you several years ago, the solution was created, and you don't need to read details here on the presentation. I know, like, I can share it later on with you, but that was the first Abiliton 1.0. So the first vision. So the first vision was that, especially in the middle, this is the most important thing, that every year, or for people on a lower positions like juniors, every half a year, you will have performance appraisal. And during this time, like your core competencies and functional competencies will be checked. And they will be checked by feedbacks from your team, but also by the knowledge checks. And as I told you, everything it was designed on knowledge. So the model at that time, the model for testers, because there were other positions for other roles, looked like that. That there were like we had juniors, intermediate, seniors, and leaders. And like this over 10 years ago, like the experts from quality management office said and just described what knowledge like we should have on every level, and what things we should know to do this work. And when I joined, I noticed that there are some things within this knowledge model that I would never use in the project that I was hired for, or within some of the projects I worked in the past, but still, this is something that I was expected to know. And just to show you the areas that were covered by this knowledge model without going into big details, it was like testing essentials. So that was something that was required by everyone. So, fundamental test process, requirement analysis, test execution, defect management, and so on and so on. So basis of basis when you're working as a software tester. There were some advanced skills related to test management, related to automation concepts and non-functional tests, or even like knowing at least requirements and what we can expect from those. And that was the beginning of this knowledge model 1.0. And suddenly, after that was implemented, after that was rolled out for the company, at that time for 500 software testers, we noticed that there is missing like part about tools. Like, yeah, we have different tools. We expect people to know how to use defect management tools, project management tools, but also the and like databases that were going through, through and out, like in and out, depending on the project. And that was working for some time. And then we noticed that we need a little bit more. So we need, like, we expect from people to have industry experience, to not have pathology that someone just learned. Like, those guys, like, I'm not one of those person, but like, those guys that can learn absolutely anything in really short time. They can pass all those tests, all the stuff, and they're just like, they can remember all the dates, names, and so on. I'm so jealous if you're one of those people. But this is actually what was happening at the beginning. Without this industry experience requirement, people were promoted to senior positions even with a year of experience. And it's not something that there are like there is a time needed and number of projects needed to gain this experience. So that's why it was added. The other thing was team and technical leadership that was needed for like higher positions, like lead positions, tryout periods, so people could check if they want to become a lead, if it's something for them, is it something that suit them well. Something that was a part added was soft skills, but it was based on the feedbacks from other team members. It was small. It was just like, how is your communication? How is your behaviors within the team? And something that was added was English level as well, because we work in international company. We have clients from all over the world, and we work with each other in English. So, I'm using it every day. My Ukrainian is very weak. And even though I'm working for a Ukrainian company and my team is from Ukraine and they speak two languages, Ukrainian and Russian. And, sometimes it would be nice to use one language. And something like the two things that I already told you about partially is one is certification, the other one is conducting presentation on internal and external IT events and trainings. This is how we won and how we motivated people to share their knowledge and experience. And this is what helped us to build this like internal community within the company. So we have internal meetups, but also we were organizing external conference. And I'm smiling here, saying yes, we were last year. We were this year. We are doing more online stuff for our employees. And I told you a lot about knowledge, but like expectations, what we expect from people to know. But we did not forget how to ask people how they can do it. So there are like two parts of it. It's like talent development and talent retention. So how you on the right you have what within the company and outside of the company we were doing to gain this and to teach people outside of the company and to get them on a board to us. But something that is interesting when you are as an employee, like you work for us or you want to change career direction, is this talent development part where you have like internal mentorship programs, like performance evaluators, like language school, yes, internal language school, but also all the trainings. So for example, internal paths, how to become test automation engineer from the step one. The only thing you need it's a little bit time and your strength. But but first of all, that was not enough. So that was not enough. Everyone had knowledge, like at one time, point in a time, actually, when they were passing this performance reviews, when they were getting promoted, and we come up that people started to feel that okay, I have those 4 levels, but it's not enough. I want to do more. And I showed you that we had those 4 levels. It grows a little bit more. So we noticed that for promotions, for the first reason I showed you from the employee perspective that we want more money, we created pro levels. So the pro levels mean actually the requirement, the biggest requirement there was to pass certification, and a lot of people pass it. And from my perspective, I joined the company, and my position was QC lead. So as you see, I was a leader here. I saw this model, and I'm a tester. So what testers do? So I said, okay, I want to be promoted on pro level. And what was my motivation? Because there was nothing else. So I wanted to see like what will happen when I will be on this pro level and I will do more. So that will be this black hole of what's next, what we can do. And I told you a lot, like that we had this knowledge models, that we had those levels, and I can only assume that a lot of you, like either you would like to have it because you don't have it at your current companies, and you're thinking about the same. And this is the easiest thing to do, to make the list of what we should know on certain levels, on certain positions. But we faced several issues. And I told you I would share with you the bad things as well. So it was great, but it was not useful. So a lot of things that people knew that they learned to pass these evaluations, to pass the test, it was not something they could use in their everyday life within their projects. It was just the knowledge that they gained at certain point in a time, and they could not do anything else with it. I'm pretty sure you all have this experience, especially those of you that are certified. So you learn some things to get certified and then you never use it again. Sometimes it's worth to come back to this, especially if like even if it's like really simple things, just to check if you did not miss something, or maybe this is something you can use right now. But in general, there were a lot of areas that we could not reuse within the projects we work at. The second thing is that knowledge and experience does not always go hand in hand. So it's really often when we have knowledge but we don't have experience, that we need this time and we need this experience. The knowledge help us. This is a tool, but it's not experience itself. So we had a bunch of people that had knowledge about something, but they could not use it within their projects. So the first thing I have in my head is like metrics. We all know what metrics would be great to set within your projects. How many of them you really use, and you even set and you even check. We all know. It just we don't use it. And this is the same with the knowledge and experience that we had. The next thing is like um, I achieved everything attitude. Um, like I was really surprised with that. That was the biggest surprise when I joined, that I met several people using the same phrase. I achieved everything in testing. And my soul was like, okay, so what kind of projects you tested? Because I'm a web tester. Do you know how to test mobile? Like, do you know how to test desktops? Do you know like how to do security testing? There are so many, like there are variety of tests and variety of projects we can do. So it's like if you have an attitude, if it ever pop up in your head that you achieved everything in testing, like please go back, take a look on types of the projects, the tools, the experience needed, because maybe you missed something. But if you did, like with pleasure I will discuss it with you. I'd like to meet you. So like please find me if you're in one of those people. The next thing that happened, and I told you that I did it as well, is this growth hacking. Every model can be tested and can be hacked. So if you set any model, if you get to know this to people, they can hack it. They will test it. This is part of who we are and what we are doing. Of course, we'll test especially the gaps, the corner cases, and so on. So this happened as well. If someone uses, we could like easily be promoted by just using properly use the knowledge that we were sharing and tips and tricks we were preparing, and also per each knowledge model, like stuff, things we were expected from people, we had some learning materials. So you could easily find like how to, like what exactly we expect from you to be promoted. So I was one of those people that hacked the system. I know that there were others. And if you think about 1,500 people, I'm pretty sure there were more and more of them. And last but not least, you know, I told you that we wanted to have more money. Of course, we wanted to have more money. And people were a little bit disappointed when they were promoted, but their skills were not growing. So because of that, it was harder for them to get more and more and more cash. And there is a certain point when you stop if you don't bring more value. So why it was not working? The knowledge model based. First of all, like you were learning stuff and people were learning stuff that couldn't be used in the project. The second thing is that it was the people were promoted for knowledge, not experience. So it went to the moment when people achieved everything. When they get to the level of lead pro, they achieved everything. So they were switching the career direction, even though maybe for a lot of them it wasn't the best option, connected to their skills, soft skills and hard skills, and attitude and what they wanted to do. And a lot of people were performing activities only to pass knowledge model expectations, nothing else. And that was blocking their growth and blocking their experience. And something that also happened, and I told you that I achieved everything. When I joined the company, I noticed that there are people that are doing more, that they are not just leaders. They are managers. They're managing huge projects, huge amount of people. They doing or they jumping from project to project. They doing crazy stuff, and they actually experts from testing perspective. So to do that, yes, I added to this additional level, the fifth level in a row. As you see, we also have trainees. So the people we are hiring normally after our IT academy or people without experience at all, and that we teach everything from the scratch. So you see, we went to the moment when this knowledge model was huge. So what happened next? So last year, and it's actually a little bit over 2 years ago, we started to discuss that it's not working, that we have this huge box, as I told you at the beginning, and that's why I started with that huge box of QC, quality control engineers. But each one of you, if you're working in tests, and the same if you're a test automation engineer or software engineer in tests or any other position you have, you know that there are more things to do, that we are different. We have different backgrounds. TestDive is organized by Nokia. Like testers in Nokia do completely different things than I do in my work. For me, it was a great adventure to be on a job interview in Nokia, because my knowledge from studies, and I'm a physicist, was more into what Nokia, the people in Nokia and Wrocław were doing than my experience from work. So as we are so different, we wanted to create something that will show this difference, but also something that will address all the problems. So what we did this year. So again, as I told you, take a look on the middle and take a look on it later on after this presentation. So we change completely the mindset. We built something that it's like people excellence 2.0. And I hope I counted that there are some people in the background listening to me right now that design it within my team, that we designed the new standard, the job standard, that it's based on not knowledge, but experience. So the experience and the things you do within the project, the experience, what you did in your past. And yes, it's split within the hard skills and soft skills, but this everything is related, and whole job standard is related and designed on what you do within your project. So if you don't, even if you have the best knowledge, like all knowledge about software testing, if you are not using it with the project, you can't be promoted. You can't say that you growth or you did something. And just to show you how new promotion journey looks, and this is just as an example. So imagine that you're a junior engineer. So you completed onboarding or trainingship program. You joined. You show this minimum progress that we expect what you would do. You have this English. Like we don't expect huge English from engineers, as they don't have a touch with that often with the client, and you have some soft skills. And then this journey works for like middle levels, like seniors and tech like and leads. So like each time you have this process, so depending on your level, like every 6 months or every 12 months, you have period when we come and check, like we have this performance review of what are you doing. And this review is like you self-evaluate yourself, and you have someone, an expert from your area, that is coming and taking a look on it. So imagine you're a lead, you're coming, like you have this evaluation and said like, yeah, I created the strategy, I know my team knows what to do. And this expert comes like, can you show me, like, can you share with me this what you did, what you proposed? And they can discuss it, you can grow, you can have a feedback on that as well. Of course, the other expectations like English, the same, like the same within the soft skills. So like there are a little bit different soft skills we expect from leaders than from juniors. For example, presentation skills, communication, and so on. So all this a little bit change, but everything is based on the real, like real things you're doing within the project. And something that I wanted to share with you is like what areas, what examples of job standards we have. For QC engineers, I told you this is the closest to my soul. So of course I will use this example. So we have all the areas that you should already know. Like this is like planning, monitoring, and control, and so on and so on. The things that we use every day, the things that are connected also to project management, to project lifecycle. Yes, there is an automation concept, and I told you that it's for quality control engineers, and really often I have questions about it. I believe that everyone should be able to identify what should be automated, when automation will bring value, how to recognize factors that will influence this, how to cooperate with someone doing this automation, and sometimes sell it to the client as well. Something that we also add is cross-company contribution. We are a huge company, and sometimes we are so focused on projects that we are working with that we forget that there are this bunch of things that we need for company to work, like technical interviews, like taking care of the quality of other projects, evaluate others, like be these experts to come to other projects and help them, and to join our initiatives, and also to support your delivery units, your projects, or other projects if needed within this. So as you see within this, and there are several, within every area there are several things we expect from people to do, but of course it brings new challenges. And new challenges is that it's really, really hard to find what this difference between objective and subjective. Now we are working on not knowledge that people have, but what they do within their projects. And yes, of course, they need this tool that knowledge is, but it was really, really hard for us to find this line, to cross this line between what we expect and when it will be subjective and objective. That you created this test strategy, when we should say that it's good enough. And I think this is something we struggle within our projects, within our work every day. So you know what I mean by that. The second thing was that network of evaluators. Of course, you always want someone better to evaluate your work, but we are limited, and especially for people that have certain skill set, it's sometimes hard to find this network of evaluators, to find someone that will be an expert for you. And I told you at the beginning, we have this competency that it's called software engineering test. We have only like 27 of them. So they all know each other. So objective versus subjective, this is the first constraint. And second one, we have two experts there, so they should evaluate everyone. So that was one of the things. This is one of the things that we are still working on. The next thing was underqualified and overqualified people. So something that showed us, and something we knew that, and actually this is why we implemented this new approach, was that we'll get to know information who's overqualified in their project, that they're doing things like, imagine you're a senior and you're doing really junior things within your project, but you have great domain knowledge, client love you, you like this project, so you want to work for them, right? It's the same on opposite. Like, we have juniors that we hire to the project, like client pick them, but they underqualified to what we expect. They don't have knowledge and experience to set up, to make proper maturity of the within the testing processes. And now what we are getting this information who is overqualified to people. And of course, what naturally it shows is that people want to change their projects. And the last thing that I wanted to show is to you, like, whatever you decide, like, of course you can use some of the things I showed you today, things that worked good and things that did not work for us. You can use it, but please remember that people are afraid of change. And especially this year, we are working in, like, in constantly changing environment. So every change you're making, please take people to, like, use people and use their experience and knowledge. And trick for me is that when we were creating this job standards, we ask people from different locations around the world, from different positions, different experience, to make a quick note what they're doing within their project. And based on their notes, we created those job standards. Of course, we add some things we thought that they forgot or we would expect from them, but it wasn't much. They already doing things. And because they created with us those models, those job standards, it's really easy for us, and we actually having only positive feedback from them when they apply it to themselves, because they know that it's not something that went from the top, it's something they come up with. And actually, that's it, what I wanted to say today. So thank you very much. Um, like, most probably we have some questions, so like I can answer them right now. If you will have any other later, you can find me on LinkedIn. So I'll stop here.
Well, you said you were going to stop, but it looks like, Marta, you are unstoppable. So thank you very much for your fantastic job doing the presentation and explaining to us how you can't grow without people. Let us just very quickly double check if there are questions for you. One from a member of the audience is, hi, doesn't this approach create a rat race effect?
I did not notice. So we are checking, like, I told you that the new approach, this People Excellence 2.0, it's something we started to roll out at the beginning of the year. And we re-look at of all the results. Actually, everyone has to feel the feedback after that. So, we try to control a lot what is happening. And actually, like, compared to the previous knowledge models, we have a lot more wins. We struggle this year with a lot of different things within our company, internal and external, as we all do. I believe that we all do. And this is something that we did not believe that with this uncertain times will be easy to roll out. And I can probably say that, 1,500 testers within software, they already use these models. They are already promoted with them. We have cases when people are promoted from senior to expert. So they skip one lead level even, because what they're doing within their projects or what they're doing within their delivery units, it's something far more than just being a lead. And yes, I told you that, like, I showed you that we have these cases when we have overqualified people. So in most cases, we just come to them and ask, is it okay for you? Are you happy with that? If you're happy with that, if you like this project, sometimes they love their clients, then, like, everything is okay. It's fine. It just, this is the way how you can grow. This is the things you can try to do within your projects. This is the tips, how you can do it. So this is more as a tool to help people. And when I'm thinking about myself, I would love to have something like that this 14 years ago. I would exactly know what to do next. not build it from scratch by myself.
Can I just ask, when you were showing President Obama's picture with this not bad but not useful message behind it, does it happen a lot in the community where there's an individual or a team and they're really knowledgeable, really working hard, but then it turns out that the results of their work are not particularly relevant for the company or the client?
I would say that we are all facing that almost every day. You know, it's from pre-sale even perspective, it's sometimes harder to explain why we need testers on board, because developers can do it, like they do unit tests, so like you know, it's enough. I would say that we face it every day, that we try to implement things, but what we come up at the end, and you know, I would say that something that it's closer to your heart, that you did your best to organize this conference, and because of some external things, there were some issues yesterday, right? Today it's a lot better. So it was a little bit less what I'm sure all of us expected, that we, you know, we wanted the same experience that we would have in cinema in Krakow, right? From the other side, for me, it's a lot better sitting in this room and having this with you than standing on this stage and like with those huge light in my face. So I would say that we all have it. It just matters how you would react on it. And I'm a huge fan of learning on mistakes or learning on outcomes. So if you're facing this, please think and maybe use 5 whys method and try to understand what is the real root cause of that. Maybe you're talking to not the right person on your client side. Maybe you should change the way how you sell it, how you propose it. There are certain ways like how to do it, every of those. So I'm a huge fan of thinking what is the real root cause and like readdressing that.
I see. Okay. There's one more question on Discord. Does it mean that to get a promotion, a person needs a sign-off from quality office other than from his or her own manager?
Yes. Not from us, but actually from an expert. So yes, we built this chain of experts that I said, and you know, a lot of our project managers are ex-testers, so it's easier, they can evaluate work, but it's different competency, and it's hard for for project manager to support your grow as a tester and propose you what to do next and figure out the plan. So this is the framework that tell them and show them how to do it, but only another expert from your field can properly evaluate if you're doing a good job or not. Yes, the outcomes of, like, you know, found bugs on production, this is one of the metrics you could use, but not enough, right?
Okay, lovely. Thank you very much for that answer. Marta, if you'd like to stay on Discord and maybe answer some more questions if they pop up, feel free to do so. Other than that, this was Marta Firlej explaining to us how we can't grow without people, and I think she proved it just beautifully.